Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. With I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all.
These losses stay with me. They fester, Jerry.
What's up, everybody? It's Toad, back with you. Toadstool Sports, whatever day this is, who cares? Wednesday, December 3rd, something like that. Yeah. What do you even want me to say? I don't know what you want me to say about yesterday. I don't think I was wrong about either NBA game. I'm absolutely outraged. I should not have given out Stonehill. I mean, Stonehill, they suck ass. That was a loser. Whatever. We got an outright win with Syracuse, winning as the underdog straight up. That was good. East Tennessee State didn't get there. I mean, they missed by like a couple of points probably. That was not that far off. Iowa, I don't know what happened to them. They didn't even show up, basically. Bad call. I just don't know what to tell you. I've got to avoid teams playing their first true road game, man, even if it is within conference. Seemed like it was a good call, but no. Valpo almost got the outright win. They easily covered, so that was a win. So we're 2-3 in college basketball with an outright winner, which I'll take that. I don't want to say I'll take that, but it could be worse. I mean, if that's your losing day, it's only a slight loss in college basketball. That's not too bad. Both NBA games should have won. Toronto was blowing the Trailblazers thing. Toronto was blowing them out of the building. Toronto was winning that game by like almost 20 points in into the fourth quarter probably. And then they somehow didn't cover. I have no idea what happened in that game. No clue. Absolutely no clue. I stopped paying attention. I'm like, well, that's a winner. That game's over. Thanks, Toronto. Thank you very much for that. And then Memphis, I mean, they were losing at various points in the game. They came back. They took the lead. They had the lead with 3 minutes left in the game or something like that. And then they didn't cover either. Thanks. Thanks a lot for that. Fucking bullshit. So, yeah, I mean, everybody should just leave the stream right now. I don't know why you would listen to me about what I have to say about today. I'm going to be really selective today. I'm going to go at 3 college basketball plays, 2 NBA, and one of them, I don't even think we're getting value on the number anymore, and I just don't care because I'm playing the spot blindly, and I don't care. And I'm not going to get 2 days in a row, I don't have any hockey plays, so if you like hockey, well, too bad, because I don't. There's just nothing else that I can say about that. They played better defense. Yeah, okay. They were losing the game with 3 minutes to go, and they got out-rebounded in the game. Both of my picks yesterday won the rebound battle by like a substantial margin, and that is the biggest. That's like the most sustainable and most predictive metric. So I don't know what else to say about that. I was not wrong about either one of those calls. That's all I have to say about that. Dirty sock, Jeffrey, what's up? Whatever. You're up too much money. Yeah, well, you're about to start losing all of it. This is fucking bullshit. Whatever. College basketball. we're going to have some conference games today. Some of these, we're not officially into conference play yet, but there are going to be some conference games today. There are a couple of games at noon. Who cares? Arkansas Pine Bluff. Do we really want to watch that team against UIC? I don't know what to tell you about this game. I have no opinion on this game at all. I'm just pointing it out because it is. Dude, what is this shit? Like, are we seeing this right now? Or is this like I don't know, was that a Windows thing or was that a Firefox thing? I don't know what that thing was that just came up on my screen. I am beyond irritated right now. What game is this? I don't even care. Pine Bluff? Yeah, they suck. The money's coming in on them for what it's worth. The UIC is down to a 16-point favorite. 62% of the tickets on them. 59 now. 69% of the cash on Pine Bluff. Yeah, I'm not going to be recommending Pine Bluff there. Whatever. I don't really have an opinion on it. Is Illinois-Chicago in a bad spot? I mean, maybe it's a look ahead to Yale. I have nothing else to say about that. And Tennessee Tech is playing at Lipscomb, also at 12. One of the worst college names that there is. Tennessee Tech on my bad side because they gave up 123 fucking points and couldn't cover against Georgia. So great. Way to go, guys. Now they're playing a fourth straight road game, although they've been battle-tested at least, playing Kentucky and Georgia prior to this. Lipscomb coming up a nice win over SEMO. I mean, I guess if I was going to recommend a play in this game, I would recommend taking the points with Tennessee Tech. I won't do it, but Lipscomb is down to a 9-point favorite, 78% of tickets on them, 63% of the cash on Tennessee Tech. I don't disagree, but yeah, I mean, that's what I have to say about that. You won on the Avs, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, everybody knows the Avs. I mean, I thought they would win yesterday, but you're not going to win money on that team long term because they're charging you like a ridiculous premium to play that team because everybody knows that team is the best team in hockey. So I would not recommend playing on them consistently. It's got to be about the spot. Northeastern is going to Worcester to play Holy Cross. I'm just shouting it out because these are my teams in my area. Northeastern coming off a decent performance against Wake Forest. They only lost by 13. Going out to Holy Cross, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they won't pay as much attention to this game with Holy Cross. Holy Cross is very bad, but they might step it up because they consider Northeastern to be a bigger brother in the state of Massachusetts. Holy Cross just beat Worcester State, which, by the way, Worcester State was they were the school that we got some of our players from for my intramural team, and Worcester State was not my school, so we got in trouble for having dudes from another school on our team, which was not allowed in that league. And then I stacked our team with ringers from our school. That was fun, including a 7-footer who was on the actual basketball team at my school and quit because he hated the coach. I'm like, hey, you want to play intramural? Yeah, all right. And then, I don't know, this other guy who I guess was on some like Turkish national team who one of our players was just happened to be roommates with this guy. He's like, yeah, by the way, my roommate like played for this Turkish national team. I'm like, why is he not on our team right now? Oh, because he only wants to play if there are women in the crowd and there are no women at the school. Okay, well, whatever. He's going to play for us anyway. Yeah. But anyway, yes, Holy Cross beat Worcester State, which they're not a D1 team, but that at least breaks a losing streak for them. So I think it's a more positive spot for them. My lean in this would be to taking the points with Holy Cross. Northeastern's up to a 7.5-point favorite, but whatever. Yeah. 7-footer who was his freshman, he was on my floor freshman year, and his roommate was also on the basketball team, and he was like the starting center on the basketball team his freshman year, and then left the team because the coach, he didn't get along with the coach. The coach was hardcore, man. We also had a PE requirement at my school, and I took basketball for one of those classes, and it was the teacher for that class was literally the basketball coach, and he ran it like he was coaching the team. It was pretty insane. It was pretty intense. I don't know. I had some of my best basketball plays during that class. Got a few blocks, which as a short man, that was not my specialty. My specialty was shooting. Wright State and Youngstown State is actually a conference game up at 6:30 p.m. This is a Horizon League game. Interesting game. Both of these teams, I believe, are in Ohio. They don't like each other. Youngstown is the better of the two teams, though, and they are at home. There isn't really a situational angle here where I would say one of these teams is in a bad spot, really. The Wright State did just play Butler, but they couldn't even come close to beating them. So I think both teams are showing up for this one. Youngstown is a 3-point favorite at home. They're the better team. I'd probably lay it with Youngstown in that one, but what do I know? All my opinions yesterday were wrong. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, inside, I want to kill myself.
That's me every day right now. All right. Best bets time already. Well, the first best bet is coming up right now. I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't know why you would listen to me. Again, I'm trying to be really selective here. We're going to take Minnesota plus 10.5 in college basketball here, starting out the 7 p.m. slate. We're going to fade Indiana. Indiana has cracked into the top 25. They're a basketball school. They're undefeated. Everybody's going to want Indiana here, but I'm looking at their resume, and I'm like, I'm not impressed yet by this resume, okay? Like, they beat Marquette. We saw what Marquette did last night. I mean, this Marquette team, they're not that good. And then they also beat Kansas State, who's also kind of a down program right now. So those are Indiana's signature wins right now. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying Indiana's bad. They're not, but they haven't really been tested yet. This is their first true road game, so you know that's difficult. And Indiana likes to play fast. Minnesota wants to play slow. And usually the home team can control the pace, and it's easier to slow the game down. Even if you're the lesser team, which Minnesota is, it's still easier to slow the game down. So that's going to help Minnesota get in under this number as a big underdog here. And Indiana might have a little eye looking ahead here because they do have Louisville up next. I mean, I know this is a Big Ten opener, but this game is just much bigger to Minnesota right now, man. Indiana's got Louisville looming on the horizon. If Indiana really wants to prove themselves, that's a game that they want. So I like Minnesota here. I mean, it's the conference opener for both teams. Minnesota, they're on a 3-game losing streak. So I actually think being back home in college is totally different from professional sports, because in professional sports, these guys are married. They got families to get back to. College, not really the same thing. College, I think it's good to be back on campus, sometimes back on your own floor. Minnesota just went out to California, and they lost all 3 games out there to San Francisco, Stanford, and Santa Clara. I'm not going to knock them too much for losing those games. I mean, it's tough to go out to the Pacific Coast. None of those teams are really that bad. I think Stanford is actually the worst of the 3, believe it or not. Minnesota does also have a loss to Missouri on the road, but I'm really not going to knock them that much for that either. Yes, I know Minnesota does not have any good wins. I understand that. Their wins are all against terrible teams. That's true. And I know Indiana is better than maybe all the teams that they've faced so far, but this is going to be a situation where they're back at home. They're going to step up their game for this. The style of play could get them in under this number, in my opinion. And Indiana, again, they just haven't been tested yet. Like I said, the money seems to agree with me on this. 59% of tickets, 84% of the cash on Minnesota. That's what we're going to do. The total's fairly low at 144.5. So the odds maker, it has gone up a little bit though. But the odds makers are kind of telling you they kind of think Minnesota is going to be the team that can control the pace a little bit more in this one with a lower total there. So that's what we're doing. Ken Palm, he has Indiana in the top 25, so they're about ranked appropriately. It's just that I don't think the spot is good for them, man. And they're more of a defensive team than an offensive team this year. I know Minnesota's bad. They're not even in the top 100. I get it, but they play like outrageously slow, and they're at least a balanced team. Like, they're not totally lopsided towards defense or offense. They're exactly 122nd in both offense and defense. But they play one of the 10 slowest paces in all of college basketball, which I think could frustrate Indiana. It could keep Minnesota within this number. So that's where we're going with Minnesota. All right. Man, I don't know what else I was going to talk about here. Like, some of these games are just, I mean, when I start digging into these games, I find some areas of interest, but then I kind of forget like which games I actually found to be interesting. I mean, if you want me to talk about one of these games I haven't talked about, you can ask. I probably won't have much of an opinion on it, though. New Hampshire and Dartmouth is a New Hampshire battle here. Now, I have conflicting opinions on this because New Hampshire just went into Fairfield and almost pulled off an upset there in Connecticut. That would have been a big win for them. But they're going to be focused on Dartmouth because UNH is, they're just bad. And I think they just always consider Dartmouth to be a bigger brother to them in the state of New Hampshire. So I think New Hampshire is still going to try to show up for this. So whereas normally I would say this is going to be a hangover spot after that performance against Fairfield, I'm not so sure that it is. But Dartmouth is definitely the better team. Dartmouth is not exactly in a bad spot here. And may want to just kind of knock down their little brother here. So I wouldn't disagree with the Dartmouth side. I would probably still lean towards laying it, the 9.5, just because New Hampshire is coming off a big effort already, and they're going to have to put up another one. But I have some hesitations with it. All right. I'm just trying to think of which other games I even had any opinion on. Queen's University, by the way, shout out to them because their coach follows me on Twitter. He became noteworthy over the weekend for wearing a ridiculous, ugly sweater. It was a Thanksgiving ugly sweater. Hold on a second. I got to look and see. I got to remember his name. Let me see. Or what was his name again? Shout out to this guy. Crap. I think my followers, are not in... I was going to say, I think they're not in chronological order anymore here because I was going to shout this guy out. What is his name? Grant Leonard. There he is. Yeah, he follows me. Head coach of Queens. I like that guy. Shout out to that guy, man. He's fun. Love the ugly sweater vibe. Just shouting him out for that reason. Queens, I forgot to talk about Queens over the weekend, by the way. I thought they would cover against Virginia because Virginia's just a team that plays very slow and they don't usually cover big numbers. I was wrong. Good thing I didn't even talk about it. But now, Queens is coming off a blowout at loss, and now they're back at home. Maybe they're going to have some frustrations to take out here against, they're playing an awful Gardner-Webb team. So I don't know. If it's a situation where Queens is going to show up, they should win this game by margin, but I don't know. They're a 14.5 point favorite, which with a high total like that isn't really that much to ask. So for Grant Leonard, I'll shout them out. Maybe Queens will be able to get that done, although it's still kind of difficult to come off getting up emotionally for a game against Virginia, so I don't know. Grant Leonard, yeah. We don't want to get him fired, man. He's a solid dude. No, Minnesota is not my only play. I'm going to have 3. What else? I don't even know what other games I was going to talk about today, man. There are some conference games mixed in here. Austin Peay and Kent State might be one of the better games of the day. Both of these teams are actually not bad. Austin Peay, pretty battle-tested. They won for us in their last game with an easy cover against Northern Illinois, but it's going to be a step up in class to have to go on the road and face Kent State, who is one of the best teams in the MAC. Kent State just put up over 100 points against some non-Division I team, which maybe makes them look too good, or maybe they just continue their momentum here. Kent State's obviously going to be the favorite here, but, these are both pretty good teams. They're a 9-point favorite here. I don't know which way I would even lean in that game, and I guess when it's a situation like that, you do want to lean towards the better team. But I don't know. That game is interesting to me because I think both teams are not that bad. All right. We got, let me see. What other games do we have that are in? I think Cleveland State and Northern Kentucky might be a conference game. I believe it is, right? Yeah. So the Horizon League is getting going, man. Not officially in conference play yet. These teams are going to be non-conference again for a little while after this. We have some early season conference games. There have already been a few, which I didn't really shout out. But Northern Kentucky, they're off to a really nice start. 6-2. One of their losses is to Tennessee as well. Then they lost the game after that. Maybe kind of a lose the game twice situation. They're undefeated at home. Cleveland State's not a very good team. So Northern Kentucky probably should take care of business here. Cleveland State just got blown out at Missouri. No shock there, but coming back from Missouri and having to play this pretty good Northern Kentucky team, I don't really see it. Northern Kentucky is favored by this much for a reason, 11.5. Money seems to be kind of coming back in against them, but I don't think I would want to take Cleveland State here. 60% of tickets on Northern Kentucky, only 56% of the cash. I don't know. In that situation, I would kind of want to lean towards laying the points. IPFW is at Oakland, which this is another conference game. Horizon, a lot of conference action going on. Oakland just went into Montana and pulled off kind of a mild upset in Montana. So does that mean they're going to be in a letdown spot coming off of that? I don't know, because usually you are still going to step up for your home opener. So, I was thinking about, maybe I want to fade Oakland here, but I started looking at it more. I'm like, I don't really think so. I don't have an opinion on the other side, or excuse me, I don't have an opinion on the Oakland side, but, it's still going to be difficult to come back from pulling off an upset in Montana, but they'll probably be up for a home opener, a conference opener. Oakland is very battle tested as well, so they're not as bad as their record looks, because they lost to Michigan, Purdue, and Houston right out of the gate. So they played they played UCF in there too. So they played some pretty good teams. IPFW, they played some difficult teams as well. Not as difficult, but Grand Canyon, Ohio State, Utah, and St. Louis. Not exactly an easy schedule for them either. Probably would still lean to IPFW in this one, but the money is disagreeing. Oakland is a 7-point favorite, 88% of the cash on them, 67% of tickets on IPFW. I don't know. I think basically the public is looking at this and probably saying, why is Oakland a 3-5 team? Why are they favored by 7 points? It looks weird, but as I showed you, Oakland's had a very difficult schedule. So they are most likely indeed the better team here, but in a situation like this, I don't know, I would kind of lean towards fading them, but not really a strong opinion at all. All right. Central Connecticut and Seton Hall. This one came close to being a play for me. Seton Hall, they just played in Hawaii, and they took third place out in Hawaii and Maui, beating Washington State. Washington State's no good this year. Seton Hall looks like they're maybe back on the rise after they were really bad the last couple of years. But nice win for Seton Hall. Nice tournament appearance out there to take third place there. Their only loss out there being a 2-point loss to USC. So Seton Hall, and I was wrong about USC last night. I was wrong about everything. Seton Hall, having to come back to the mainland from that and face Central Connecticut, and now up next they have to play Kansas State in 3 days, a much bigger game. It's a bad spot, dude. It basically looks like a sandwich spot to me here. Seton Hall also plays ugly slow, so taking the points means a lot more in a game like this. Central Connecticut coming off some win against a non-Division I team to just kind of continue their momentum after Central Connecticut had a bad game in the prior game against Sacred Heart, which we had Sacred Heart on the show in that game. They covered for us because Central Connecticut was just coming off that monster upset of Rutgers. But Rutgers is kind of similar to Seton Hall, man. They're both in New Jersey. They both are ugly, big conference teams, and they both play slow. Although Seton Hall, I think, is better than Rutgers. But there is some precedent here. Central Connecticut did also go in and beat BC on the road, too. So Central Connecticut, both power conference teams that they played so far on the road, they beat them outright. I'm pretty tempted, actually, to do this, even though the fact that they won both those games outright, those are outliers, but Seton Hall is down from 17 to 16 here. I'm pretty tempted to add this, man. Seton Hall, Ken Bum has them in the 30 slowest teams. That's not a surprise. Their offense is outside of the top 100. They play good defense. It's going to be a low-scoring game, and the total in this game is ridiculous. It's 129.5. That is so low. Let me see here. Oh, Central Connecticut. So Ken Bum has them at 240th in the country. He has them 14th in his luck index, which isn't good. It means they're overperforming. But that's because they pulled off those two upsets. And if you pick them here or take them here, you don't need them to win the game outright. They're pretty bad offensively, too, but they do play decently defensively. Yeah, let's add a fourth play. Why not? I was thinking about it. The more I dig into this game, I'm like, yeah, I kind of like it. Let's do it. Let's take Central Connecticut. I'm not impressed by Seton Hall, really, so we can get 16.5 on this right now. It looks like at some spots still. I don't know how, but the number's kind of all over the place. All right. I'm adding this into my tracker right now. Hang on. 16.5. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so there's another play for you. Hold on. I'm adding it right now. Central Connecticut plus 16.5. I mean, I think if you find it at 16 or whatever, I mean, there's not much of a difference there. So we will go with that one as well. All right. And by the way, as far as totals are concerned, I skipped over this IUPUI game against Detroit and Mercy. I mean, if you see the total in this game, it's 182.5, and the money coming in all on the over, basically, with the public kind of not wanting to take the over here because that total is so insane. But I think if I was going to play that game, I think I would play the over. I mean, IUPUI, that's what they do. You know what they do at this point. They play as fast as possible, and they play absolutely no defense. So, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous how high that total is. It's, yeah, insane. All right, we have another Massachusetts battle out in Amherst, Mass, between Harvard and UMass. I think Harvard considers themselves to be a little brother in this situation, even though they've made some noise in the Ivy, kind of on and off. Harvard's coming off an ugly game against Bryant where they barely won. And, I think Harvard, they were coming off playing some Boston teams. They lost to BU. That was a win for us on the show. Lost to Boston College as well. Bounced back, though, with a win over Bryant, at least to end their losing momentum. So I think that was kind of a sandwich spot, sandwiched in between all these Massachusetts teams. So I think maybe they just didn't totally take a Rhode Island team seriously. Oh, no. So Bryant covered in that game. Harvard got the win nonetheless. Now they have some momentum going out to UMass. I think Harvard will be focused here. I mean, UMass, ever since, the John Calipari days and whatever, UMass has pretty much been the big brother in this situation. UMass, they're coming off actually going out to, I think they played in, where was this, the Virgin Islands? Yeah. They're coming back from a tournament in the Virgin Islands where they won the final game of that they played in the tournament. They didn't play well in the tournament, but they got a win in the last game against Oregon State. Pretty big win because Oregon State used to be a Pac-12 team, so even though they're not really good right now, that's still a pretty big win for an A-10 team like UMass. So now they're coming off of that, coming back home. I know they've had a lot of time off. They had, they probably went home for the holidays, and now they're back out on campus. So they've had plenty of break here, but I kind of like Harvard in this spot. I would take the points. UMass down from 5 to 4.5, 78% of tickets, 94% of the cash on UMass, but UMass looks public. I mean, I don't know what the percentages are going to look like when the game goes off, but my lean would be towards taking the points in that one. We'll see if I'm a Massachusetts school whisperer. I don't think I really am, but, maybe I should be. All right. Under in Spurs Magic. Yeah, I mean, I'll look at that. I don't know. I just don't really have opinions on the totals. I think I had one opinion on a total yesterday, and I didn't even look to see what happened. Rio Grande Valley and Stephen F. Austin is another conference game, by the way, in the Southland Conference. Stephen F. Austin is the better team. How much better, I'm not really sure. Where are they here? Yeah, there they are. Stephen F. Austin's up to a 6.5-point favorite in that one. I don't really have an opinion on it. It's just interesting as some of these conference games are going off there. I would probably expect Stephen F. Austin to take care of business in that one, but not entirely sure. They're coming off a loss to UT Arlington, which that's a non-conference game. I think UT Arlington's in the WAC, which is whack. I mean, it seems like they should be in the Southland. I don't know. But that was kind of a difficult game for Stephen F. Austin, so I don't know. Maybe Rio Grande Valley. Well, I don't know, because Rio Grande Valley played pretty decently against Illinois in their last game, and they're facing a third straight road game now. So that's not an easy spot for Rio Grande Valley at all. So, yeah, I do think laying the points kind of makes more sense than that one, but that's just kind of a quick opinion there. Not a strong one at all. Getting into these night games, we do have some big games. Number 6, Louisville is at number 25, Arkansas. I think I forgot to handicap this morning, so unlikely I'm going to add a play, but we'll see in a second. Louisville absolutely obliterated NJIT in their last game. Not much to see there. NJIT sucks. This is their first true road game of the season, though. In Louisville, I mean, they're somewhat tested in that they have a nice win over Kentucky. That's a really good win. But other than that, not totally tested. They beat Cincinnati in a neutral site game. That's their second best win. Now they're having to go first true road game going to Arkansas. That's not going to be easy. Arkansas is still ranked 25th in the country, sitting at 5-2. The public is probably only going to be on one side here, and they're only going to be on the Louisville side. But, oh no, I did look at this earlier. Yeah, I mean, I can't come in on the Arkansas side, though, because they just lost a win streak, and they lost it in a game where they played pretty competitively against Duke. So coming off of that, I can't do it. Yeah, I did look at this game. My mistake. I remember looking at it. I decided not to play it, of course. I mean, the money's coming in on Arkansas for what it's worth, but I don't know. I almost kind of disagree with it. 51% of tickets, 82% of the cash on Arkansas. But coming off that game against Duke, man, I mean, it's going to be difficult to come off of that and actually play well again here. Louisville, though, again, first true road game. I want nothing to do with that either. So, yeah, it's a stay away for me. Probably going to be a high total in this one. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with an over. Both teams like to play fast. Both teams are kind of in difficult spots, but the fact that the total's gone up 5 points already to 166, I don't know, missed the boat a little bit on that one. Clemson is at Alabama. Most of these games that I'm talking about, I think, if not all of them, are actually being hosted by the home team today. So Alabama's coming back from the Players Era tournament in Las Vegas, where they put up a pretty good showing. I mean, they crushed UNLV in Maryland to finish it off. Not bad after they lost to Gonzaga. No real shame in that. Gonzaga's good. Alabama now back home to face Clemson. Do they suffer a letdown, though, coming off those other games? I don't really think so. I mean, Clemson's been good the last few years, so I think they are a team that draws your focus. I mean, they only have one loss this year, but they're pretty untested right now, man. I mean, they have a loss at Georgetown in their only road game, so that's not good because, of course, this is a road game. So their road track record so far, even though it's only one game, not good. And then they have very close wins against West Virginia and Georgia. That's not a great sign because Alabama on the road, that's a big step up in class, man. So Clemson, not very tested here. Alabama is actually much more battle-tested than they are. Alabama's faced St. John's, Purdue, Illinois, Gonzaga, and then Maryland and UNLV were actually kind of a reprieve for them. So I think Alabama gets it done in this one. People are also going to look at this and think, like, probably, oh, my God, even though Alabama's ranked, I think they're going to see Clemson, a 7-1 team, and think, oh, my God, I'm getting 10 points with a one-loss team. I think it kind of makes sense to take the points, but I would probably lay it here. It's probably going to be a fairly high-scoring game as well, where laying the points is kind of easier to do in a game like that. 73% of tickets, 95% of the cash on Clemson. I don't agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Clemson is somewhat of a public underdog in this one, though. But I would probably lay the points with Alabama in that one. Robin, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you again. All right. LSU is going up to Boston College, man. LSU 7-0 to start the season, but they're pretty untested, man. I mean, their best win is, I don't know, one of these last two, I guess. It's either Drake or DePaul. I mean, LSU has not been very impressive so far. They haven't really been tested yet. Now, this is also going to be their first true road game, and they got to turn around in 4 days and go play Texas Tech, which is a much more difficult game and maybe a look-ahead spot for LSU. So they might get caught in this one, man. It's not a good spot for them. BC, not exactly battle-tested themselves, and they have some fairly ugly losses in here, especially the home loss to Central Connecticut, which I mentioned. That's not great. And most of their wins are pretty ugly. Their best win is a road win against Temple. They did bounce back from a losing streak with a win over Harvard in the last game. Don't have anything upcoming. They will be focused. You got to think on with an SEC team coming in. I would take the points with Boston College in this one. I mean, the public is going to want nothing to do with that one. LSU's down from 7.5 to 7 here. They look like they're going to be very public. 93% of tickets, 98% of the cash on them. Total's not very high at 147. Yeah, I think it makes sense to take BC plus the points there. It's also kind of a weird travel spot, unfamiliar travel spot for LSU to go up there. It's also cold up here right now, but that's not going to matter as much because they're playing in an arena. But still, I mean, is a team like LSU really going to be excited to come up here into New England, into the New England almost winter weather now? Probably not. So we had cold rain up here yesterday. The weather's a little bit better today, but it's still pretty cold. All right. What else are we looking at here? I mean, some of these games are just not really even worth talking about, but Tennessee State at Alabama A&M. Tennessee State just pulled off a nice in-state win over a big brother. They went into Chattanooga and beat them outright. Pretty big upset, dude. I don't know exactly what the line was in this game because ESPN is trying to distance themselves from betting because of the betting scandals. So now ESPN, they sold off ESPN Bet, and now even though they have DraftKings widgets still on the site, they don't show you the historical betting data anymore, which I hate that. They should. So in this game, Chattanooga started out the game, according to ESPN's analytics, is like a 74% favorite here. They were a pretty big favorite. Chattanooga was big win for Tennessee State. I mean, they're a pretty lowly team in the state of Tennessee, and they pulled off an upset like that on the road. That's big. And after this game, they got a bunch of days off, and then they play UNLV. So I think they might overlook Alabama A&M. And Alabama A&M is undefeated at home, although one of them is a non-Division I game, and then they beat Charleston Southern and Lindenwood. So, I mean, this Alabama A&M team, they're definitely not good, but they are able to win against teams that are bad, which Tennessee State is bad. So, yeah, I mean, Alabama A&M is also coming off a pretty ugly loss to Coastal Carolina. Man, and two of their losses are at Clemson and at Indiana. I mean, you're not going to really knock them for those losses. I would take the points in this one, obviously. Tennessee State's up to a 4-point favorite here. It's a fairly low total, up to 148.5, though. But I'm kind of tempted because Tennessee State looks like they're definitely in a letdown spot here and maybe even a sandwich spot. Alabama A&M is so bad, though. Let me see. Where does Ken Palm have them at? He has them in the bottom, like 60 or so, and pretty high in his luck index. Do I really want to add this many plays on the fly, man? These were plays that almost made my card. Tennessee State, where are you at? He has them as a significantly better team, but they're higher in the luck index, too. They play really fast. Tennessee State does. I'm assuming Alabama A&M does not. No, they play slow, which is good for, a team that's an underdog getting points at home, you know what I mean? Playing slow is good, actually. Can frustrate a team that likes to play fast. Alabama A&M better on the defensive side than the offensive side, which is not bad for, a road team. Tennessee State, I assume, is not. Hold on. Let me see. Where are they at? Yeah, Tennessee State, they're actually better defensively as well. I was going to kind of assume they weren't, but they're actually a better defensive team too. Yeah, that one's close, man. That one is definitely close to a play. I kind of want to do it. Tennessee State, what have they done on the road so far? Lost to Belmont, although they were pretty competitive there. Lost to Western Kentucky, lost to Tennessee, and beat Chattanooga, yeah, like we said. Yeah, I'll stay away from it, but Tennessee State, I mean, they've been pretty good on the road so far, man. So, yeah, that would worry me a little bit about that, but I do think they're in a letdown spot. All right, let's keep going. Princeton at Monmouth. I like Monmouth in this one. Monmouth, they're a little brother in the state of New Jersey, so I think they're always going to get up for a game against Princeton. Princeton is actually way down this year. They're not very good, and Princeton's coming off a big performance against St. Joe's, where St. Joe's is a pretty big favorite in this game, I'm pretty sure, and Princeton in this, whatever this was, this is actually in Trenton, New Jersey. Princeton almost pulled off the upset there. Now they got to go to Monmouth. Yeah, I think it's kind of a bad spot, kind of a hangover spot here. Monmouth, they've been good at home. Well, I don't want to say good. I mean, they're undefeated at home, but their wins at home are kind of lackluster. They beat a non-Division I team, and they barely beat Robert Morris and Ball State, so maybe not a great sign for laying points with Monmouth, which is what you're going to need to do here. They did just go into Lafayette and pull off not an upset, but pull off a road win. Lafayette is really bad. I think Monmouth probably was favored in this game. I would guess they were a small favorite. Yeah, I think I'm right about that. But, yeah, I like Monmouth here. Monmouth does have a potential look ahead, though, maybe to Georgia Tech in a few days, so maybe that's a little bit of a concern, but you got to think they're going to get up for a game against Princeton because, again, This is a New Jersey little brother, big brother situation. Monmouth is up to a 4.5-point favorite. Maybe a little bit of an ask, though, because Monmouth still isn't really that good, and a total of 140.5 is low. 53% of tickets on them, 88% of the cash coming in on Princeton. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would lay it with Monmouth. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give it out as a play, but that would be my opinion in that game. Princeton, I mean, people kind of remember, like, they know the name. Princeton's been one of the better Ivy teams for a while now, but this year they're really not. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind in that game there. Cal Baptist and BYU is an interesting game as we get kind of into the later slate here, where I still have two more plays somewhere in here in the later games. Cal Baptist off to a 7-1 start. I mean, they're off to a nice start, man. Haven't totally been battle tested, but they do have a win over UC Irvine on the road, which is pretty good. A road win at Oregon State, that's not easy either for a team like they are. But now they're coming off, they beat Oregon State on the road. Then they had to go into elevation, and they only lost by 8 to Colorado. They played Colorado really tough in this game, man. Cal Baptist was like in this game late in the game. I mean, they came back. They were in the game. They fell behind by a lot, double digits. They came back from a double-digit deficit, got back to within 4 in the final couple minutes of the game. Huge performance from them 2 days ago. Now they have to turn around and go to BYU. I don't like that, man. Like, ideally, yeah, they would want to step up for a game against BYU, but after what they just did against Colorado, I don't know. I think BYU is probably going to be able to smoke them here. BYU, though, I mean, they're coming off winning one of these early season tournaments in Florida. They won the Terry's Chocolate Magic bracket, beating Wisconsin, Miami, and Dayton. And Wisconsin, the most impressive win out of any of those, of course. But could be a little bit of a letdown here for them, man. And they do have to turn around and play Clemson in 6 days on an ESPN game, and that's going to be a neutral site game as well. The Jimmy V Classic in New York. Don't know which Jimmy V that is, because I only know Jimmy Vaccaro, but he's like an odds maker, so that would be more of a Vegas thing, so I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it looks like a bad spot for both teams, but that kind of means, well, you're probably going to get BYU maybe controlling the pace a little bit here. And if I'm not mistaken, BYU still likes to play fast. Yeah, I mean, Ken Bum has them 123rd. I mean, that's not as fast as what they were doing last year, but BYU's up to a 20-point favorite. I mean, I'm still not opposed to laying the points because I do think the spot for Cal Baptist is really difficult. Cal Baptist, 58% of tickets, 79% of the cash on them, but my preferred way of playing this game is probably the over. The total is up from 148 to 151 half an hour. Jeffrey doesn't like that I have all these over opinions, but that's kind of what I do because I identify bad spots, and if I see both teams in a bad spot, I kind of think the over is the way to look in games like that. All right. What else do we have here? I mean, North Dakota State at Montana. I already talked about how Montana had kind of an ugly loss at home to Oakland after getting upset by Lamar in the prior game, and that was a win for us on the show with Lamar because Montana was coming off a huge performance against Texas A&M in the game before that, so I just think Montana didn't have much left in the tank, but now they're staying at home now after 2 ugly performances. To me, it looks like this is a spot where Montana does bounce back here. North Dakota State did just take a loss at Arkansas State, ending a long win streak that they had. Now having to go up to Montana, probably not going to be that easy to do. Arkansas State, not a bad team either. So, yeah, I like Montana in this one. They're already up to a 4-point favorite, though. They opened 1.5 with juice. It looks like the money is indeed agreeing with me on that one with Montana. I would lay it, but, I mean, at 4, it's getting a little bit dicey on that one. So, yeah. Red Wings got it done. Yeah, barely. I mean, I did not like the Bruins in that game, but the Bruins came back and almost won. So Jeffrey, I believe, was on the Bruins in that game. I mean, at the price that the Bruins are at, maybe it wasn't the wrong idea. And the Bruins did have more shots, I think, and more hits in the game. So the Bruins did kind of outstat the Red Wings. I mean, I agreed with the Red Wings mildly, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. There were a very high price tag on them. Utah today, I mean, I'm staying away completely. I don't disagree with Utah, though. All right, we got Texas State and Rice is going to look kind of weird because Texas State's 6-4, Rice is 3-6, but Rice is a favorite here. Rice, fairly battle tested, man. They played Oregon on the road, Tennessee on the road. Some games in here that were not really that easy, although they've taken some losses against some mid-major teams too. But they did break a loss streak with their last game, winning at home against Oral Roberts. So Rice may have some newfound momentum from that. For Texas State, I'm just pissed at Texas State right now that they didn't bounce back from that horrendous late game performance against Seattle. Like late in the game, they just completely fell apart in that game against Seattle. I don't know what that was. And then they couldn't turn it around and win, and they lost again as a favorite to Lehigh. So maybe Texas State is going to show up with some, intensity in this game after two horrible games in a row. It's just one of those games where I think, Texas State might be the better side here, but looking at the fact that they have the better record and they're getting points, something doesn't look right about that. So the odds makers are kind of telling you that these teams are almost evenly matched here, with Rice getting a little bit for home court. Rice, 2.5 point favorite in this one. I mean, I would slightly still lean towards taking the points, but I really don't like it. 2 early goals for the Red Wings. Yeah. I'm not happy because, as a Bruins fan, I'm not happy. All right. Next up, I'll give you out a play here. St. Thomas plus the points. We're going with the Tommies. I like the Tommies, man. I think they're good. They got a hero, man. They got Tyler Hero's younger brother on their team. I know it's going to look too easy to take the points. Just like I said with Texas State, you got a 6-3 St. Thomas team. Montana State's 3-5. I know it looks too easy to take the points here with St. Thomas, but we're doing it anyway, and this is all about the spot. Like, I know Montana State's probably the slightly better of these two teams, although I think it's close. Montana's one of the better Big Sky teams. Montana's pretty battle-tested. I mean, they played pretty well on the road at Colorado. Very respectable games for the most part. Close losses on the road to Stanford and Boise State. They did have an ugly home loss, though, to Denver, so keep that in mind. So Montana State at home, in some of these spots here where they've had bigger games surrounding these games, they have not been that good. But now look at what they're coming off of, man. They just took Utah State into overtime on Saturday at Utah State. That crazy game, dude. Utah State's undefeated. Utah State's one of the best teams in the Mountain West. Montana State was a massive underdog in this game. I don't know what exactly the line was, but ESPN Analytics had Utah State 96.2% to win the game, and Montana State took them into overtime. This is a massive performance from them, dude. So I don't know what, if anything, they're going to have left coming off of that game. I don't like this at all. St. Thomas is in the much, much better spot here in this one. St. Thomas, they beat Lawrence University over on Saturday, a non-Division I team, after St. Thomas played in the Portland tournament prior to that, and they did take an ugly loss in that one to Fullerton. But so St. Thomas, they came out of that Portland tournament, came back home. They got a nice win that will just continue their momentum into this one. So while Montana State was, putting up the fight of their lives in a massive performance on Saturday, St. Thomas was basically cakewalking through a non-Division I team. So I like this a lot better for St. Thomas. We're definitely going to take the points in this one here. The money seems to agree. Montana State's up to a 3.5 point favorite like I have here. 71% of tickets are on Montana State, but 68% of the cash on St. Thomas. Total pretty low at 147.5, so taking the points does make more sense. Montana State does play slow, so that kind of plays into the underdog covering as well. I know Montana State's battle-tested, and they're low in the luck index. I get that, and St. Thomas is high in the luck index and does like to play a little bit faster, but they're not exactly a fast-paced team, but still, I like St. Thomas here, man. Like I said, yeah, Ken Bum has these teams very closely ranked, which is what the odds makers are telling you as well. But the spot is way better for St. Thomas, so that's the play there. Northwestern at Wisconsin, so a Big Ten game coming up today at night on the Big Ten Network. Interesting one. Wisconsin coming off losing to TCU. That was a loss for us on the show, man. I can't believe how bad that showing was for Wisconsin, wherever that game was. That was in San Diego, I think, the Rady Children's Invitational. I don't know what happened there. Wisconsin was a favorite. TCU had upset Florida in the game before that, and that was the championship game for that tournament. I don't know what happened to Wisconsin in that game. So maybe Wisconsin is in line for a bit of a bounce back here in their Big Ten opener at home. Like, they're going to show up. But Northwestern's going to show up too. I mean, they want to beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin, usually one of the better teams in the Big Ten. Northwestern is coming off an ugly loss, kind of at home, or it was either home or semi-home, I think, in the Chicago area against Oklahoma State. Not a great game, although Oklahoma State's been playing decently this year. Northwestern took that loss. Now they're going out on the road. Their only other road game, they barely beat DePaul. That was a win for us on the show as well, because DePaul, a little brother in the area of Chicago, I thought they'd show up big for that game, and they almost won. So I'm not going to take too much away from that, but I mean, if you get Wisconsin focused, I think laying the points is what makes sense here. Odds makers are telling you Wisconsin's the better team. They're up from 9 to 10, 73% of tickets, 96% of the cash. I wouldn't disagree with laying the points with Wisconsin in that one. This is also not the Wisconsin team that it has been historically, where everybody remembers Wisconsin. Oh, they slow the pace way down. They find really good shots to take whatever. Nope, that's not what they do anymore. Like, they play pretty fast right now, so that should help them cover as well. And the total is not that low. So, yeah, Ken Bum has Wisconsin 77th in tempo. Interesting. He's got them, whatever that is, 20-something ranking spots higher than Northwestern. And Northwestern wants to play slow. So that's also kind of a pacing mismatch there, where if Wisconsin's able to speed it up, that's not what Northwestern wants to do. Next up, final play here, unless I find anything else. Final play for college basketball. We're going to lay the points with Denver, -3. Not the Denver Nuggets -3 like we won on the other day, but the Denver, what the hell is their name? The Pioneers. Oh, yeah, them. We're going to fade Eastern Washington, although I know Eastern Washington, they're 1-6. They're not as bad as their 1-6 record looks. I get that. Odds makers are still telling you Denver is like probably the slightly better team here, though. But I don't like the spot for Eastern Washington. Yes, I know that they're battle-tested. Yes, they played very well in some of these road games against UCLA, Loyola Marymount, Colorado. They played very well in those games. But interestingly, when they play worse teams on the road, they actually do way worse. Although, of course, one of them, they were coming off that huge Colorado performance, and then they just stunk against Seattle and got blown out, which I think might have been a win for us on the show with Seattle, if I remember correctly. Then no excuse, really, though, for Eastern Washington to go into Central Arkansas and get blown out there. I mean, that is a bad Central Arkansas team, and Eastern Washington got wrecked in that game. Maybe they were looking ahead to North Texas, though, and that is the game Eastern Washington's coming off of. And I know they've had like a week off after this, but this game against North Texas was crazy, dude. They took North Texas into overtime. North Texas was a big double-digit favorite in this game. ESPN had them as a 90.5% favorite in the game. I think they were probably about a 17, 18-point favorite here, if I remember correctly. And Eastern Washington played their guts out, and they took North Texas into overtime. And North Texas is still a team that likes to play slow and grind you, punish you physically, you know. It's not a good spot for Eastern Washington coming off of that and now having to go up into elevation. Denver, in their last game, they got absolutely trounced by Wyoming, but Wyoming's not that bad of a team this year, it looks like, in the Mountain West. Wyoming was a huge favorite in that game, and Denver had no chance. But Denver now coming off losing 101-59. You lose like that to anybody, you know you're going to show up in the next game. And look at the previous 2 games that Denver played prior to that. That was a 3rd straight road game. And Denver had beaten Colorado State on the road, a huge upset win over a big brother in Colorado for them. Then they had to go and play Arizona, who was number 2 in the country. And Denver played, I would say, respectably and losing by 30 to Arizona. Arizona's really, really good. And then Denver, 3rd straight road game, going back up into Wyoming. I mean, it was just not a good spot for them. But now they're back at home, and this is also a situation that I like. When a team is back at home, and their last home game was really ugly, which was the case for Denver. Their only home game so far was a bad loss to UTSA at home. When that's the case, I like that home team to bounce back, because now they're back home. Again, it's different from professional sports because you don't have like, these players have to get home and they're going to be distracted by their wives and shit. No, this is college, so that's not the case. Like I say, I don't think these players are really focused. They're not distracted by their classes. Let's just put it that way. Like, I think their distraction is basketball, you know what I mean? And maybe they'll be partying and stuff, but whatever. When you're coming back to campus off a couple of losses, including a really ugly loss, and your last home game was a horrendously ugly loss too, or a loss to an ugly team, in my opinion, you're going to show up. I think that is a good spot in college basketball. So we're going with Denver in this one. They're up to a 3-point favorite here. Like I said, you might have to lay 3.5 on it. That hook is not as important in basketball as it is in football, but whatever. That's what we're going with here. Am I on the Bucks? No, I am not. The Mavs tonight. You're gonna love me. Everybody's gonna love what I have to say about these games tonight. All right. Pacific, I looked at this game a little bit. I think Pacific is in a bad spot, man. Pacific has actually played well to start the season. It's 6-2, but now they have to go into Elevation to face Air Force and then turn around in 3 days and play Cal, which is going to be a big game. I mean, Cal is one of the biggest brothers in the state of California. So, weird spot having to go into Elevation and then turn around with a look ahead of that magnitude. Not a good spot for Pacific here. I don't know if we really trust Air Force. I mean, they're not good. But they do have a couple of wins that maybe can inspire some confidence. I mean, their wins are all at home, and they're against Alabama State, who made the tournament last year at least. SIU Edwardsville, who also made the tournament last year out of those lower conferences. And then IU Indy, who is improved, I guess, and that they just play really fast. And now Air Force is coming off kind of an ugly loss at home to South Dakota after losing to Northern Colorado. I mean, Northern Colorado is good, so I'm not going to knock them for that. But, yeah, I would look towards Air Force in this game. Pacific, they're laying 7 points. They're pretty public. 75% of tickets, 87% of the cash on them. Low total at 132.5. So I think Air Force might be able to kind of muddy this game up at home and get in within that number. So I like Air Force there. We got a bunch of big games, actually, in the late slate here. SMU is at Vandy. Vandy ranked 17th in the country, undefeated, but what has Vandy really done so far? Their best wins are basically their last three. They beat Western Kentucky. They beat VCU in the battle for Atlantis out in the Bahamas. Good wins, definitely good wins. And then they won the Bahamas championship. Not only did they win the championship out there, but they beat St. Mary's. And if you remember, I talked about that. I should have given out Vandy as a play in that game because that was also tournament revenge, because if you remember, St. Mary's came back against Vandy in the first round of the tournament last year and knocked Vandy out of the tournament. And I still wound up losing because I gave out St. Mary's as a play in the tournament last year, and they won and didn't cover. So really, really thrilled about that result. But that was a huge win for Vandy in multiple different ways, man. Now they're back at home. They got SMU here. I don't think they're going to overlook SMU, though, and I don't love the spot for SMU either. I mean, SMU is also 8-0, so I don't think Vandy's going to overlook them. SMU's coming off that win where they beat me on Saturday. First true road game, they went in and they beat Mississippi State. I gave up Mississippi State +1 or 1.5 in that game. Mississippi State had that game, dude. They were winning that game, I don't know, by several points late in the game, and they completely blew it. And I think they wound up losing in overtime. I'm pissed about that, but because of that, I just can't quite get there with SMU here, man. I would lean towards SMU in this game, but the money is also completely disagreeing with me. Vandy's laying 11 here, 87% of the cash on them, 53% of the tickets on SMU. Now, the one thing that I will say is when the public sees two 8-0 teams, even if one of them is ranked, if they see the line at 11, they are going to have a tendency to take the points. Because it looks almost too easy to take the points. Like, how are you getting 11 points with an undefeated SMU team, right? So I tend to want to look towards laying the points in a spot like that. But with the spot that Vandy is in, I really don't like it, man. I don't like the spot for either team, though. So you can see why I'm staying away from that. It's one of those games where I would think an over might make sense, too. And the cash percentage does seem to be on the over, even though the total did drop to 167. It's a spot where I think Vandy does like to play fast. 39th in tempo according to KenPom. So over might be a look in that game. What's up, man? BLGH, what's going on, man? Good to see you again. Fernando, right? Did I remember your names? Sometimes I can remember things with my stroke brain. I used to have a great memory, and now I do not. All right. What other games are we going to talk about? NC State and Auburn, another big game on ESPN, man. Auburn, 20th in the country. Could argue they're in a bad spot here because they did just go out to that Players Era tournament, and they did lose to Michigan in the middle of it, but they beat St. John's. Oh, no. How could that happen?
Yeah, inside, I want to kill myself.
So they beat St. John's to finish that tournament in third place, I believe, with that win. That's a big win. Now they're coming back home. They're facing an NC State team that's fallen out of the rankings. And in 3 days, Auburn's got to play Arizona, man. So this does kind of look like a bit of a sandwich spot that they're in here. But NC State, they're coming off a game where they had a close game against Texas, man. I mean, I don't even know who was favored in this game. This is a big game. This is in Maui, the 5th place game in Maui. NC State looks like they opened this game as a small favorite probably, but that was a big game against Texas. And now they're not only coming back from Hawaii, but they have to play their first true road game, and didn't work out for me yesterday going with the first true road game for Iowa, even though I thought that was more of a familiar spot to them because they play at Michigan State every year. But Ben McCollum's Iowa guys don't, so maybe I should have stayed off of that. But for NC State, I mean, they don't play Auburn every single year, so I don't love it as far as it being a first true road game for them. I do still lean to NC State in this game, though. Auburn's up to a 7.5-point favorite, and they are pretty public. 86% of tickets, although 95% of the cash on them. But my opinion would be to take the points with NC State in that one. NC State also maybe playing a little bit pissed off because they dropped out of the rankings. But I don't think I can get there with that one. This is a Neil Diamond movie. No. No, I'm not going to pay money to see it at the very least. He's terrible. Sweet Caroline is terrible. They should stop playing it at Red Sox games. Neil Diamond, very, very bad vocalist. I mean, he wrote some catchy songs, I guess. Still not good. He's probably a pedophile. Sweet Caroline is about Caroline Kennedy, and it was written when she was like 13 years old, so that's great. Virginia is going to be at Texas. Texas coming off that loss, that win against NC State out in Maui. So Texas, I mean, they played pretty well out there. They did lose in the first round, but they wound up getting 3rd place, I guess, or no, 5th place is what that was, in that tournament there. However they do that. Now they're coming back home, but they're coming off a big win that bounced NC State from the rankings. So I don't know if Texas is really going to be in the greatest spot here. Virginia staying on the mainland here. They just played at home, I'm pretty sure, in the last game. It beat my guy at Queens, so a much easier win for them. But this is Virginia's first true road game, so I don't really want to deal with it with Virginia. First time on the road for the season. Probably still lean towards Virginia anyway. The money seems to agree with that one. Texas down from a 2.5-point favorite to a 2-point favorite. 88% of tickets, 85% of the cash on them. I'm not going to disagree with taking the points with Virginia, but I don't love it enough to put that out as a play. We do have Mississippi State at Georgia Tech as well. Mississippi State really hurt us with that loss, man, in overtime against SMU. Thought it was a great spot for Mississippi State to come out and play, and they blew the game, so that's just great. Now they're coming off that. That was a tough game against SMU, and now they have to play their first true road game at Georgia Tech. And coming up on Sunday, they got to play some tournament. Starting out playing San Francisco has been pretty good this year, so this might be a bad spot, man. I mean, Georgia Tech is not really a team that's going to draw many teams' focus, really, because they haven't been good for a while. They're not that great right now. They're in the ACC. They're coming off a couple of kind of ugly losses to DePaul and Drake, although I know Drake was actually favored against Georgia Tech in that game. But it looks ugly. So I think coming back from that, maybe Georgia Tech's going to be in a better spot. This was in Florida, I believe, so they're not really having to travel far, going from Florida back to Georgia. I like Georgia Tech in this one. Hasn't been, I haven't considered it to be strong enough to make my card, but the money's disagreeing with me on that one too, but I like taking the points of Georgia Tech here. Total's also fairly low at 149.5. Mississippi State's up from 3 to 3.5 with 55% of the cash on them, but 61% of tickets on Georgia Tech. I don't know what's going on with that market read there, but I kind of like Georgia Tech there. And then we do have Vermont at Oregon State. Vermont coming off a tough game against Yale, man. Vermont just beat Princeton, and they almost beat Yale. Yale probably the best team in the Ivy again this year, and Vermont almost upset them. And now they have to go out to the Pacific Coast for the first time this year. Just very, very strange spot for them. Late game, too, so it's going to mess with their biological clock. I don't love the spot at all for Vermont here. For Oregon State, they lost at home to Cal Baptist. That's kind of an ugly loss as well. Cal Baptist is undefeated, though, so, I mean, I don't know. Oregon State, they were, what were they? They were a small favorite entering this game. So, yeah, I mean, still kind of an ugly loss for them. Maybe they will bounce back from this. Although, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to put this on my card, but, yeah, I mean, I do like Oregon State in that game. They're a 2.5-point favorite. It's not really that much of an ask, really. Very, very weird spot for Vermont, though. So I think Oregon State probably gets the job done there. And then we do have a game between UCLA and Washington at the end of the night here at 11 p.m. Weird that this is a Big Ten game. I still don't like that. UCLA just took a loss to Cal. UCLA was a pretty big favorite in that game. Got upset by Cal. Maybe it's a bounce-back spot for them because they were a big home favorite in that game, but this is their first true road game at Washington. You know Washington will show up for a game against UCLA, and Washington did lose to Colorado in Palm Springs in the prior game, so they're having to come back up to Seattle as well. Colorado undefeated, but they're not that great, so I don't know. That was kind of an ugly loss for Washington there. Probably leans slightly towards Washington in the game, but I don't love it at all. UCLA actually is getting some of the money. I mean, maybe UCLA will bounce back from their ugly loss. They're up to a 1.5-point favorite there. Yeah, that's it for college basketball, though. So we got my there's 4 plays there. Let me see what does the market read look like there now. Central Connecticut still looks like the money's moving in their direction. I just like to double check. Minnesota does look like they're getting a lot of the money, and that line has dropped, by the way. 10, not a key number in basketball, though, so I still pretty much like it, but 10.5 is a lot better, obviously. These basketball lines just move way too much, especially when I'm on the right, what I think is the right side. The Tommies looking like they're getting the money, so I like that. And then Denver, don't really see the percentages yet, but yeah. All right, let's go to NHL. I don't have any plays here in the NHL. Small board. I know 2 days in a row I don't have an NHL play, but that's just, I try to find spots, man. It's just the way that it is. Dallas at New Jersey is an interesting one. Dallas did take a loss yesterday, so now they're on a back-to-back. But they're only going from New York to New Jersey, so it's not a huge travel leg here. But they lost a win streak, so sometimes losing a win streak will hang you over. It is still a back-to-back, but they did rest Ottinger yesterday. The Rangers actually won at home, go figure. But Ottinger will be back in net for this one. It seems like Dallas saved him for the game against the better team here. So it seems like they are going to try to show up for this one. New Jersey's coming off a couple of ugly home losses, though, to Philadelphia and Columbus. Well, Philadelphia, not as ugly because they're more of a rival, and they've been playing well. But Columbus, pretty ugly loss, man. So New Jersey just staying at home with a day off. The spot looks like it is better for New Jersey to me. So that would be the way that I would lean in this one is New Jersey. They're up from -107 to -113. 60% of tickets, 81% of the cash on Dallas. Don't really agree with the cash percentage on that one. I think New Jersey is in the slightly better spot there, but I don't love it. Winnipeg is at Montreal. Winnipeg yesterday took a pretty bad loss to Buffalo, 5-1. Coming at the end of the road trip here, maybe Winnipeg is going to want to try to salvage another game out of this road trip as they're 1-3 on the road trip, which is not good, obviously, but maybe a bounce-back spot for them here. Of course, they're still without Hellebuck. Don't know when he's coming back. I mean, he's a great goalie. They'll try to show up for a game against Montreal. I mean, Montreal's been decent this year, and they're a big name. Montreal, they're probably in a decent spot as well, though, because they returned home from a road trip. They took a loss to Ottawa, and I talk about when a team returns home from a road trip, sometimes it will bounce back in the next game. Like, they'll have a much better game in the next game. So I think it's a positive spot for both teams, but Montreal did play yesterday against Ottawa, so they're in a back-to-back, although at least they are staying at home. It'll be Dobes in net this time, and maybe that's better because Montembeault just hasn't really been as good this year. So A lot of things going on in this game. The money is coming in on the Winnipeg side, though. And I'm not really going to disagree with it because Montreal is in the back-to-back. I think both teams are in positive spots. Oddsmakers telling you that Winnipeg is still the better team, which is interesting, even though they've looked pretty bad without Hellebuck. Winnipeg up from -107 to -115, 70% of the cash on them, 58% of the tickets on Montreal. Yeah, I won't disagree with that one, but I don't think it's strong at all. Flyers working on the penalty kill. I mean, it's something, yeah, I mean, teams better work on that. Dude, I hate power plays so much. Like, well, obviously, when a team that's against you has a power play, when they keep getting power plays, I just hate it, dude. Like, I have to turn the game off. I can't even watch it because it's like, I just think a team's always going to score on a power play pretty much. Buffalo is at Philadelphia. Buffalo coming off that win over Winnipeg where they beat them 5-1. But that does mean they're starting a road trip with momentum here. So I don't really think they're going to be in a letdown spot here, starting a road trip against a team with a good record like Philadelphia. I think Buffalo will show up focused here. For Philadelphia, I think they should be focused as well because they took an ugly loss in their first game back home. That was a win for us on the show with Pittsburgh, 5-1. Philly was in a return home spot and a letdown spot of beating New Jersey, so that was bad. But I think this is a better spot now. Once a team returns home, that was also a spot where they probably had to get some Thanksgiving stuff done because they were on the road during Thanksgiving. So now that that's all done, I think they should be in more of a bounce-back spot here. They do play Colorado on Sunday, but I don't think they're going to be looking ahead to that. I think they're going to want to try to get this win. So I think both teams are in positive spots here as well. The money's coming in on Buffalo. They're actually up to a -129 road favorite. I don't know what's going on with that line move. They opened +113, it looks like. 95% of the cash on Buffalo. Maybe Jeffrey knows what is going on with Philadelphia here. Is there like a goaltender change that would affect the line that much? I don't see how. 59% of tickets on Philadelphia. So the market read is very strong on Buffalo in this one. I don't totally see it. I don't know. I think both teams are in positive spots. So I don't know. I mean, I almost kind of lean in the opposite direction in that one. So I don't know what's going on with that number. Penguins lit them up on the when I had the Penguins. Yeah. Was it a lot of power play goals too? I don't know. I didn't see the game at all. I haven't even looked at the box score, which probably I should do. But Utah is at Anaheim here. Utah, they got to be in a spot where they're going to show up here, man, because they've lost every game on the road trip so far. They've lost 4 games in a row, losing 6-3 to San Jose in their last game. You got to think they're going to show up with some intensity here against Anaheim, although Anaheim is good at home, as we know. Anaheim coming home from a road trip, although it was only a road trip on Sunday and Monday. Did take them to the Midwest, Chicago and St. Louis. Is this really a true road trip return? Not really, because they probably got their Thanksgiving stuff done. Then they hit the road. Now they're back home. They've only been away for a few days. So I don't really consider it to be a true road trip return. But they did beat Utah the last time they played them here at home, which I don't want to remember that because I think that was a loss. That was that loss that we took where Anaheim tied the game literally with 4 seconds left in the game and then won in overtime. I'm still pissed about that. But maybe Utah will be too. So I'll agree with Utah, but it's not a strong opinion from me. The money seems to agree. 88% of the tickets, 77% of the cash. Anaheim down from -115 to -107. I know Saab likes this one. I don't really see much of an angle on this necessarily. I'll agree with it, but I also am not loving the idea of fading the 9-3 Anaheim team at home here. But I know I've done it a couple of times, and we did get one of those wins, but I'm not going to do it this time. If I was going to play a hockey game, it would actually be this last game. It would be San Jose. Washington, they're on a back-to-back. They're playing a third game in 4 days, fourth game in 6 days, all in different cities. They were in New York on Sunday, and then they had to go out to L.A. They pulled off the win at L.A. last night. Now they got to go up to San Jose, and then after this, I don't know why schedules look like this all the time, man, where teams do L.A., then up to San Jose, then back down to Anaheim. It makes no sense, but that's what they're doing. And they might look ahead to Anaheim because Anaheim's record is really good, so to me, it looks like a bit of a sandwich spot here, and it's not really a good travel spot either. For San Jose, I worry a little bit as well that maybe they're going to be a little bit too cocky after playing a couple of big games themselves, losing by 1 to Vegas and then crushing Utah 6-3. And with Dallas up next in a couple of days, could maybe be a little bit of a look ahead. So I do worry. I'm staying away, but I like San Jose in this one. And if I was going to play any of the hockey games today, I would take San Jose on the money line. 71% of tickets on Washington, 50% of the cash on San Jose. And of course, if it wins, I'm going to be pissed that I didn't give it out. That's just the nature of the game. That's what it is. Pancreatic cancer, Deneen. Oh, yeah, the Whalers. Yeah, that's right. I watched a Whalers documentary on YouTube not that long ago. Yeah. The Whalers, they were a scene, man. I mean, it was because they were in kind of a small market. Like, their fan base was really intense, man. We need some of those Connecticut teams back, I guess. I mean, Whalers are, of course, now the Carolina Hurricanes. So Hartford people probably pissed that they got that good team, that franchise that's been really good that could be in Hartford. And then they got to bring back the Danbury Trashers, man. You saw me wearing the Trashers jersey on that NFL show where I didn't talk to anybody. There's a great documentary about that team on Netflix. It's one of the Untold series or whatever. The Danbury Trashers were basically a mob-owned UHL team that only lasted a year because their only goal was to just hire a bunch of goons to play on the team and just beat the other teams up physically and like injure them and stuff. Pretty awesome, to be honest. So yeah, there is that. The Expos documentary I watched. I actually watched one on Netflix. You're talking about the Netflix one. I watched one on YouTube before I even knew there was a Netflix one coming out. There's one on YouTube that's decent, and I think it's actually maybe better than the Netflix one. The Netflix one, you got to like subtitles for one thing, because a lot of it is in French, although I kind of understand French because I took like 7 years of it, and I used to be fairly good at it. Like, I was decent at the language when I went to France in high school, but because when you don't use it, that stuff just goes away. It atrophies. I didn't hate the Netflix Expos documentary. I think they did miss some things, though, in it. But the YouTube one kind of did, too. So, I don't know. The one that's on YouTube, I think I kind of liked a little bit better, though. It's interesting, nonetheless. So, I like sports history stuff. But, yeah, the Trashers need to come back, man. The FBI shut them down because they were run by a mafia family that ran the sanitation business. Of course they did, in that area. Bring it back, man. They were an entertaining team. All right, NBA. Oh, man, another long video. All right, we got Portland at Cleveland. I mean, I don't love the spot for Portland, as we know. I mean, Portland, we went against them last night, and they should have lost by more. I mean, Toronto had the margin for a lot of this game, and now Portland's on a back-to-back, and the reason I faded them in that game was because they were coming off a tough performance against OKC. Now they just put up a performance where they came close to Toronto last night, and now they have to turn around on a back-to-back and play Cleveland. I mean, sure, they're going to try to focus on Cleveland, but I don't know. And they also play Detroit on Friday, and Detroit's got the better record here, so don't love the spot here for Portland very much at all. Even though they ideally would show up for a game against Cleveland. Cleveland has it a lot easier because they didn't play yesterday. They are playing a third game in 4 days, but they only had one quick trip to Indiana. They got the job done against an Indiana team that's been very injured and struggling. I think that'll just give them momentum because that'll just break that losing streak for them. So I would lay the points with Cleveland in this game. I don't really see any other way to look at this game. Hasn't made my card, but where's the game here? The money looks like it's disagreeing. I don't know what's up with that. Cavs down from 11 to 10, 62% of tickets on them, 61% of the cash on the Blazers. So, yeah, I mean, I would lean towards laying it with the Cavs, though. I don't know what's going on with this market read right now, but I don't understand how money could be on the Blazers in this one, to be honest. Like, the spot is pretty bad for them. Not on my card, but close-ish. I have a lot of opinions on these NBA games, and I'm trying to be really selective with the actual plays. Denver is coming off an ugly loss to Dallas at home. Dallas was a pretty injury-depleted team, although Anthony Davis was back, though. So that was actually the second game Anthony Davis was back. So Dallas took a loss in the reverse injured player spot, which I didn't even realize Davis was coming back. But Oh, no, Dallas won, I guess, in that game against, wait, what? No, I think Davis came back against LA, and then he didn't play against the Clippers, I think is what happened. So Davis came back against his former team, LA, and in the reverse injured player spot, Dallas didn't. I think they might have actually covered this game, though. Of course, ESPN won't show me the lines anymore. But Dallas might have covered that number. But even so, they didn't win the game. And then second game with Anthony Davis playing against Denver, they pulled off the upset. So ridiculous upset. And now Denver's coming off losing that game very ugly. And now starting a road trip. You got to think Denver's going to be focused here. Starting a road trip off of an ugly loss like that. Indiana, I mean, I guess you could argue they're starting to play a little bit better here. They are coming off a blowout loss to Cleveland, basically, and they're staying at home. But Denver's still the better team, and Denver's in a positive spot. So my lean would be towards laying the points with the Nuggets in this one. But the money is, again, disagreeing with me. 68% of tickets, only 58% of the cash on the Nuggets. I hate these early market reads, too, because a lot of times the money will just completely shift around throughout the day. So there's not a whole lot of stock you can put into this. So I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, with both teams being kind of positive spots and Denver being the team coming off the way, way uglier loss, I like Denver to refocus in that one. San Antonio at Orlando. I don't know what we do with this game either. Jeffrey said he's on the under in this one. San Antonio, they played last night, so that kind of makes me not want to play the under just for that reason alone. San Antonio's done a lot of traveling here. I mean, this is going to be a very tired team, which I think affects the defense mostly. So I think that means more of an over type of game. San Antonio, again, I can't believe that we didn't get that cover with Memphis last night. Memphis had the lead with 3 minutes to go as a +5 underdog or whatever. San Antonio was in a road trip sandwich, a single game road trip between single game homestand between two road trips. They'd finished the road trip playing Denver, beating Denver, and then playing against Minnesota. They got the win last night somehow. Now they're going back out on the road to face Orlando, and they do have Cleveland up right after this. I don't love the spot at all for San Antonio, man. On the back-to-back with this much travel, it's a third game in 4 days, fourth game in 6 days, fifth game in 8 days, all in different cities. Orlando still might not be getting a lot of people's attention just because even though they're playing better recently, maybe they just don't still draw that attention. Although I know now they beat Detroit, but they came off of that game, return home spot as well. We got the cover with the Bulls in that one. Orlando still won the game. They're staying at home. They had yesterday off. They actually had the entire weekend off prior to Monday. So Orlando's the much more rested team and staying at home. Orlando's got to be the right side in this game, even though the money, again, does not agree with that. The line is up to 8 for whatever reason. I mean, we know that Wemba is still out, so I don't know why this line is moving like this. 56% of the tickets on Orlando, 53% of the cash on the Spurs. I would only lay the points with the Magic in that one, though. I don't really get the market. I don't understand the market read on these games at all. I don't like the under in that game either, really. The total's gone up a little bit to 235. Money looks like it's on the over. 78% of tickets, 96% of the cash on the over. I would like the over more probably if both teams are in spots where I didn't think they were going to be focused. But I don't know. The under worries me in that one. And, with Wemba not in there, that affects San Antonio's defense. That takes away a lot from their defense. He's a very good defensive presence. Clippers are at Atlanta. Oh, yeah, this is one of my plays. You're going to love these. We're going right back with the Clippers plus the points here, man. They got to get it done at some point. They can't possibly continue to be this bad. This is ridiculous, dude. I know, dude, a lot of this is coaching. They need to fix something here because they do have some talent on this team. They can't just keep running offense just basically let James Harden just hog the ball. That's what their offense is. But I'm doing this anyway because this spot is terrible for Atlanta. So that's what I'm doing here. Atlanta, they're coming off a double overtime game on Sunday. First of all, Friday they upset Cleveland. Then they went into Philadelphia, and we lost in this game in double overtime on what was kind of a bullshit loss after Philadelphia made the comeback. Atlanta, double overtime win over Philadelphia. Then they turned around and they took Detroit to within 1 on Monday. And now they're coming off of that, and they play the Clippers, who are like 5-16. I mean, do you really see Atlanta being focused on this game? I don't think so. And they have to turn around and they have to play the Denver Nuggets on Friday, which is a much, much bigger game. So this is a sandwich spot. It's not a very good rest or travel spot either. Atlanta's technically returning home from a road trip, although I don't care that much about that when it was just Sunday, Monday. But still, it's a third game in 4 days, all in different cities. Fourth game in 6 days, and most of them in different cities, with the first and last games now being at home. I don't love this at all, man. They took Detroit to the wire in that previous game. That would have been a huge win if Atlanta could have gotten that done. Terrible spot for Atlanta. The Clippers, they better just do something here, man, because they're coming off another blowout loss, which it was a bad sign that was in a good spot to take the Clippers. So I do worry about that. That was a Miami return home spot. Clippers got annihilated, but come on, man. At some point, the Clippers are going to have to do something. I mean, their last 2 wins have come at home. I know Atlanta's better than the 2 teams that they beat. I'm reiterating what I said last time against Miami, but I'm doing it again. I'm trusting the process. We're going with it. I know the Clippers are playing kind of a packed schedule as well. They played 28th, 29th. They're playing a fourth game in 6 days. I know I don't love that, but the first 2 of those games are at home. Their last game, they got absolutely blown out on Monday. Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like they're in the bounce back spot here. They're going to try to get this game, in my opinion. It's got to be the Clippers in this one. This one, the market does strongly agree with me, it looks like, and hopefully that doesn't change. Hawks down from 3.5 to 3, 72% of tickets on them, 65% of the cash on the Clippers. We're doing it. We're taking the Clippers. You might be able to get 3.5 on that, too. Clippers, yes, sir. I don't know what I'm talking about with the totals, really, though. You like the Clippers as well? Yeah, it better happen, man. I don't want to continue to lose NBA. My NBA is usually pretty good. It's been good this year, too, so far, for the most part. Spurs are testing players. What does that even mean, though? That makes me also like the over, because that kind of means it's going to be like a scrimmage where teams just don't play defense as intensely. Charlotte at the Knicks. I don't love the spot for the Knicks here, man. The Knicks, they played yesterday. They lost in Boston to my Boston Celtics. They're on a back-to-back. They're actually playing a third game in 4 days, although it was just a trip to Boston from New York. I know that's not a huge travel spot back home from that, but still, third game in 4 days, fourth game in 6 days, fifth game in 8 days, sixth game in 10 as well, and seventh and 12. That's not that easy to do. And that loss to Boston broke a win streak of the Knicks. So I think they could be hung over here. It's a back-to-back. It's not that great of a spot here for the Knicks, man. Playing Boston is still a big game. Charlotte coming off a loss at Brooklyn, which we got that one. That was a win for us on the show with Brooklyn. Brooklyn outright win. Charlotte, I thought they were in a bad spot coming off beating Chicago and beating Toronto in overtime. Huge win, and with the Knicks upcoming, because I think they're going to want to get some revenge here, because the Knicks just beat Charlotte in Charlotte by 28 points on November 26th. So I don't really see the Knicks being that focused on this game. And Charlotte might want this game a bit more because it's that quick revenge type of spot here. You know what? Man, additional play might happen here. Knicks down from 9.5 to 8.5. 82% of tickets on them, but 51% of the cash on the Hornets. You know what? We'll do the Hornets, and if they get it done, we'll... yeah, man, I can't believe I'm adding all these plays on the fly here. We'll do it, and if they get the job done for us, maybe I'll wear my ball jersey again. I'll ball out. Let's take the Hornets here. Looks like you can get plus 8.5 on this one. I like it. We'll do it. It's going to be 3 NBA plays now. The quick revenge spot actually put me over the top with it. I already liked it, but let's do it. Hornets plus 8.5. All right. Next game up is Brooklyn at Chicago. I don't really have much going on with this game. Chicago took another loss, close game against Orlando. Now they're returning home from a road trip, though. And you know I don't like teams returning home from road trips. They've been on the road through the holidays since last Monday. So, again, they didn't really have much opportunity to celebrate Thanksgiving, it seems. So this could be a bit of a distraction spot, man. I mean, I don't think you're really going to be focused on Brooklyn, and you might be more focused on Indiana because they've been good the last couple of years, and because Chicago actually lost at Indiana on the 29th, so that Indiana game might draw more of their focus than Brooklyn does. Brooklyn may have some new momentum after beating Charlotte, man. Maybe that's a good thing because it breaks another loss streak for them, so maybe they'll show up and play well here. So I do like Brooklyn in this one. The Bulls have dropped from an 11-point favorite to an 8-point favorite. I looked to see the injury report, and there isn't really a whole lot going on there. So I don't know. Bulls have some guys that I've never heard of that are listed on the injury report. I don't know. 84% of tickets, 91% of the cash on the Bulls. I would definitely take the points, though, in this one with the Nets. This one is close to being a play for me. I don't know. That one is a little bit weaker, so I'm staying off of it, but it's close. Sacramento at Houston. This one, I like Sacramento in this game. Houston, they're returning home from a road trip as well. They were on the road through the holidays too, so a lot of road trip returns. They might have more focus coming up against Phoenix in their next game, although they already beat Phoenix during that road trip. But there's still kind of that thing. I mean, they got Durant from Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix has been playing better, so I think they might overlook Sacramento here and have more of their focus set on Phoenix in the next game. Houston did lose, though, to finish the road trip, although I usually ignore that, and I usually will fade the team returning home from the road trip anyway, because the public perception will be, oh, they'll bounce back after that, but maybe not. And yes, it was a zigzag, and I was on Utah in the wrong one of the two games. I thought Houston was in a bad letdown spot after beating Golden State in a playoff revenge going into Utah. They got the win in the first game, and then the zigzag happened in the second game. But yeah, Houston returning home from a road trip. I still don't see them being that focused on Sacramento here. For Sacramento, they're coming off a loss to Memphis. I mean, they've lost a bunch of games in a row. Again, 3 losses in a row. They did lose to Utah as well, although, of course, Houston did also just lose 1 of 2 to Utah. Sacramento's starting a road trip here, though, with a bunch of days off, actually. They haven't played since Sunday, so having a lot of days off might actually break Sacramento's losing momentum. So I do like the Kings in this one. The money seems to not agree right now. 54% of tickets, 74% of the cash are now 52 and 73 respectively on the Rockets, up to 15.5. I know the Rockets, I mean, if they want to, they probably could just name the score on this game, so I worry a little bit, but I would take the points with the Kings in that game. What do you mean what happened to Losercast? We had the first episode last night. What, did you not see it? We did the episode last night. I thought it went okay. I don't know. The format of it seems to be decent. I think we need to make some tweaks. Detroit at Milwaukee. But yeah, if you missed Losercast, you can go check it out, man. Although I think it's on Leighton's YouTube right now. I don't know, because the new YouTube channel. Oh, maybe that's what you mean. It wasn't on the new YouTube channel, because the new YouTube channel, they give you like a 24-hour delay before you can actually stream to it, so we couldn't stream to it yet. I don't know, because I think it's after you like get accepted to do it or whatever. But it's on Leighton's YouTube. It's on the Outlawed Thoughts YouTube. That's where it was for the first episode. And I think we did stream it to Twitter. I don't know if he has a Rumble that it's streamed to as well. I'm not even really sure, but yeah, you should be able to go see it on Leighton's Outlawed Thoughts channel, though, I think is where it is right now. Unless it's intense enough that we might get it nuked. I don't know if he had to pull it from YouTube or not. Right after he got monetized. Detroit and Milwaukee. Detroit coming off a close call against Atlanta. Single game road trip going out to Milwaukee. They did already beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee on Saturday, November 22nd. I'm guessing that was without Giannis. Giannis is back now. Milwaukee just on an ugly stretch right now, and doesn't get much uglier than their last game where they lost to Washington. So, I mean, I think it's a positive spot for both teams. Maybe Milwaukee getting a little bit of value here, and maybe we'll be a little bit more pissed off about that loss. So I'm not going to really disagree with Milwaukee here, but it's not my favorite. Like, I think it's weaker than most of the other games I talked about, to be honest, even the ones where I'm going against the money right now. This game, we have, what are we looking at here? Pistons, 56% of the tickets on them, 73% of the cash on the Bucks. So the market read is saying the money is on the Bucks, taking the points of the Bucks. Yeah, I don't disagree. Maybe a little bit of value getting points with them at home, with the way that they've been playing recently, coming off a very, very ugly loss. But, Detroit came off a loss, I believe, as a favorite as well. So, I'm staying away from that one. JC, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. JC is everywhere. And then finally, the last play. Yeah, you're not going to like this one. We're going to lay the points with the Miami Heat. We're going to go against what the market is saying here. Maybe we'll get a better number on this. I would probably wait, actually, because maybe you'll get a better number on this. I'd open at 2.5. I know, unfortunately, I don't know what caused this line to move. The Mavs have a lot of guys on the injury report right now. Gafford and Washington have both been out, but what's kind of crazy about that is Gafford and Washington both missed the game that they won against the Nuggets. So I don't know, man. With them coming in and out of the lineup, them coming back, it might mess with the team chemistry and whatever. Heat have 79% of tickets on them, 56% of the cash on the Mavs. So the money's completely disagreeing with me. I don't care. I hate the spot for Dallas here. I think it's a terrible spot. Dallas, they pulled off the upset against Denver. Massive upset in high elevation. And not only that, but on top of that, they're returning home from a road trip that they were on during the break. During Thanksgiving. I don't want to call it a break because they didn't have a break. So they didn't have a Thanksgiving break. So I think they're going to have to... Well, maybe they celebrated Thanksgiving before. No, because they were in Miami and then LA. What am I talking about? Did they stop off back at home just for Thanksgiving and then go out to LA? I don't know. But this road trip happened during Thanksgiving. Now they're back home. They've been on the road since Monday, November 24th. I always talk about this, how a team can get distracted when they return home, even though, yes, I know they lost at Miami, but only by 4. That was a game where I gave out Dallas in that game. That was a win for us. Dallas covered in that game because they were starting a road trip. I liked that to be a focus spot. So maybe Miami will remember that and maybe actually show up with more intensity in that one. In this one, because of that game. But yeah, I just don't know if Dallas is really going to be focused on Miami, out of conference team. And up next, 2 days from now, they got to play the Oklahoma City Thunder and then Houston the next day. So to me, it looks like it's a look-ahead spot too. So it's a huge sandwich spot here, man. I don't see any other way to look at this game. I think Miami's going to annihilate them. Miami coming into this game off of an easy win over the Clippers and starting a road trip now. Starting a road trip, usually you are focused, although I know Miami does have Orlando next. That's a bigger game for them. I understand that. Maybe it's a little bit of a look ahead, but yeah, this spot is miserable for Dallas, so we got to do it. We're going to lay the points. I don't know where this number is going to wind up. I don't know what's going on with the market. I just don't care. I hate the spot for Dallas, so Miami is the last play there. Also could use it as maybe a money line parlay piece. I do not think they're going to lose the game. So those are my opinions on those. That's going to do it, man. We added 2 more plays here on the fly. There's no football today. Once again, the plays, they're all in the evening. Minnesota in college basketball plus the points. Line's already moving on that. Central Connecticut, we're adding last minute plus the points. St. Thomas plus the points. The Tommies. Denver as a favorite in college basketball minus the points. NBA, we have the Clippers plus the points. Hornets plus the points. Miami Heat minus the points. That's going to do it. Learn to Toad on Twitter. Learn to Toad on Instagram. Go like and subscribe to the show here, of course. Give me some good comments on here. Go review on Apple and Spotify. Listen over there. Helps me out as well. Go check out Covered in Uke, my Uke channel that's up to date, at least for now, I believe, on YouTube. Haven't gotten up to date with the Patreon feed, patreon.com/learntotode. We'll see. And we'll see if I get approved for subscribers because I was able to actually at least reapply for subscriptions finally on Twitter. So hopefully they approve me. I got rejected the last time. Come on, man. I'm so sick of it, man. They tell you that you violated policies and they don't even tell you what the violation is. But yeah, hopefully that happens. There are guys that say way worse things than I do that get approved for that. So come on, man. So the Patreon also gives you the ability to request stuff from me that I kind of ignore. I promise I'll get back to the Patreon at some point and get it up to date and see what the other requests are. But I need my voice back as well. And then, of course, check out Losercast, which I think the first episode is on Leighton's channel from last night. We got some things to tweak, but I think the overall format was okay. I enjoyed it. I think it was fun. It was hopefully funny. It wasn't as completely over the line as Tower Gang, but also it's first show, and like, there are two guys on the show that I've never even talked to before, so I don't know. And Adam Nutter missed the show, so he's the biggest loser of all, really, from last night. There will also be a poll out there where people can choose which one of our choices they think is indeed the loser of the week. But yeah, that's going to do it, man. I'll be back tomorrow, I guess, for whatever's going on tomorrow. Hopefully it should be a smaller board tomorrow. I know there is football, just the NFL game tomorrow. I am considering a play on the NFL game tomorrow. We'll see. I don't love the NFL board at all this week, but we'll see. Today's Wednesday, right? So Wednesday is kind of my football research day where I watch the wager talk shows to see if they confirm my thinking or not. We'll see, man. That's going to do it for now. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Let's get back on the winning side tonight, man. That's the goal, obviously. If we go 4-3, I'll be happy. Like, it's a grind. You want to win, win more than you lose. That's the name of it. So let's do it. I'll be back again, hopefully. Peace for now.